All right. Again, we have the audio at least.
All right, cool.
All right.
It looks like we're up. We're
Cool.
up and running. Okay.
All right. Let's go. Welcome to episode 119. This episode 2, see, we talk about British man rants about ranting. What did 2019 give us? And hashtag Baby Watch 2020 is in full effect. I'm Al Flores.
Now I'm Anton Duan.
Don't raise your eyebrow at me. That's not what I meant.
I'm gonna close this window here, and I hope it play. I hope this is still streaming if I close this.
I can confirm that if you need
Okay.
to.
I just closed
Um,
it, so
all
hopefully
right.
it's running. I think it should be running still because I mean it still has a green thing here, and it says that we're already 1 minute through streaming already. So, um, can you confirm?
Uh, we're live streaming right now.
Mm.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah,
Live now.
YouTube is trying to be more mainstream this time, and they're trying to make sure that all the videos that are being uploaded onto YouTube is content for adults or kids. They need to know. So that's why they
Yeah.
had to change the platform a little bit just to make sure that they're not getting emails all the time about parents complaining.
Well, because I can see them uploading videos, but
Yes.
streaming is a little bit different.
Yes, it is.
Um, yeah.
Because I mean,
Oh,
anything can happen live.
also, as I'm looking at our channel right now, all of
Mhm.
our shot previews, there's none that we both look good in. It's either
Yeah.
one or the other, or we both look terrible.
Yeah. YouTube does a very terrible job of doing
In
that.
one, in our current one, you look
Mhm.
serious, and I look.
For our
All
viewers
right.
who are listening to the podcast instead, yeah, Alan is doing some really funny faces on here.
I do that sometimes. I forget.
Hmm.
I forget that we have audio listeners sometimes.
I know.
Anyway, so going back to our headlines here, I
Yeah.
put hashtag Baby Watch 2020 in full effect because we are in the last couple, well, not last couple months, but I mean, we're nearing the birth of your future baby.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, real.
Hmm.
I mean, what is it? A May due date?
Yeah, it is a May due date.
So to put it in podcasting context, in our current format, that's about 10 to 15 episodes, Anton.
I know. It's very short. And I mean,
That's
we took a really long break just to put it out
we did.
there. Yeah, we've been really busy, especially me. I've been traveling quite a bit, and yeah, just doing so much preparations and stuff like that over the holidays. Even when you were taking a couple of weeks off from work, it seems like you were busy too.
Yeah, I mean, I was taking the time to also update some of our behind the scenes
Hmm.
stuff, trying to plan ahead for the new year. A lot of boring stuff that I don't think people want to. What was it called? A lot of inside baseball,
Yeah,
as some people say.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, new year, new goals we want to set for ourselves.
Hmm.
But yeah, during the holiday, I've also been doing a lot of binging in the
Hmm.
background.
Yeah.
And little news for me, I'm finally done my Invisalign treatment. So no
Oh,
more
nice.
trades for me except for my retainer.
All right,
And
can
I'm
you
only
do a
gonna wear
little
that now.
smile for people who are watching? Looks pretty good.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
What held you off of doing it, and why did you do it?
It's that thing about like, well, am I too old for braces at this time, whatever? And
Hmm.
then uh they improved my dental plan at work and they covered Invisalign. And I guess from what I've been able to find out is Invisalign started getting covered by a lot of dental companies
Hmm.
somewhat recently.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think it shows that Invisalign's working and it's cost effective. So
Hmm.
a lot of insurance companies are covering it now.
Oh,
So I
that's
finally
good.
just did it. Yeah, I finally just did it. Also, I kind of hesitate on getting traditional braces because I remember the headaches you had.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing like us going out to eat and then going, oh shoot, a wire's cutting my cheek.
Dude, I still have scars on the side of my cheeks. I could still
Yeah,
feel them. Yep, they're
yeah.
still
So
there.
yeah, I mean,
That's pretty
Invisalign
bad.
has its own restrictions, but at least I didn't get any like random wires jabbing into me, so I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't get to do all that cool stuff like having glow in the dark braces and stuff like that. So I mean, you
No, but
do.
I did.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
did have to wear rubber bands the last month or so.
Really? They do
Yeah,
that with the Invisaligns?
apparently they can.
Mm-hmm.
Because I switched orthodontists the last 2 months because my older orthodontist, he had an emergency leave of absence, so they
Oh,
had to
okay.
call in a new one, and she was like you're almost done, but I want to fix your bite a little bit, so I'm going to have to ask you to wear rubber bands. I'm like, what? That's possible?
Mm-hmm. So, how does that work? Do they put something onto the Invisalign, or did they put
No,
something on your teeth?
no. So really, it's kind of a it's as if they took the tray
Mm-hmm.
and just etched a little loop into it,
Mm-hmm.
and you just hook the rubber bands around it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you have your mouth pretty much closed the whole time because it's trying to clamp it, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm so happy
Mm-hmm.
I only had to do it for a month,
Mm-hmm.
because that first morning after wearing them, I forgot. I tried to yawn. I was like, "What? What's going
Yeah,
on?"
yeah, yeah. I know how that feels. All right,
But yeah,
so
it's done.
yeah.
18 months later, I'm done.
So how was? I mean, did you get any cool presents during the Christmas week?
I got this little nifty thing for my girlfriend.
Oh, nice. So you're part of the club now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, hydro flask, some clothing. My brother got me this cool collectible.
have mine right here.
Um, what? Nice. But is yours officially the 2OC water bottle?
Oh man, I
Or
need to get one of those stickers. Should go into the 2OC website.
right? If only it was accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, my brother got me this cool collectible Superman like commemorative statue and
Hmm.
a replica of the first Action Comics issue of
Oh,
Superman.
nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, so yeah, and the only negative thing is it's a big ass box for a figure and a comic book.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out how to store it and like where I can see it, but also not take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm trying to think through my head right now. I mean, I got that Gears of War 5 game that I showed you earlier. I still haven't cracked that one open.
Hmm.
I want to get Pokemon, but I haven't because no time for video games. I mean,
Yeah.
even when during our break, we only played what once, twice.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. And I wanted
Yeah,
to play a lot too, but I just didn't get
same,
a chance. Yeah,
same. How about you?
for me, this Christmas, I got a lot of stuff for my kid. So, a lot of baby stuff. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot for myself this time around, which is fine. I understand. I'm an adult,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Uh, I will say this is officially me and my girlfriend's first Christmas together.
Hmm.
Uh, and we bounced around both families, and it was a success. We managed to spend time with my family and then go visit her family,
Wow,
and we didn't feel rushed. We were really surprised by that.
that's good.
Yeah, so it
As
worked
a
out.
lot of people do it, like where on Christmas Eve is when they do it, and then other people
Mhm.
do Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys split it up, or did you guys do it on the same day but then like different times?
This is one thing that me and my girlfriend kind of realized is like we wish we were each dating white people so we can celebrate Christmas Eve with our Mexican family and Christmas Day with our white family. But since we're both Mexican, we
Yeah.
had to split Christmas Eve. But the good thing is Christmas Day was just for us,
Mm,
so we got to take it
nice.
easy and sleep
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff like
good.
that.
That's good. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so I got my girlfriend hooked on The Office
Hmm.
on Netflix, but I'm sad because I really wanted to test her geekiness because we binged all the Star Wars movies. We binged The Mandalorian, and I wanted to test her geekiness by making her watch Battlestar,
Oh
but
man, that's a lot.
it's no long it's no longer on Netflix,
No, it's not.
and I
Hmm.
yeah, it's not. So I'm like, there's no way to stream it other than buying the digital copies on Amazon.
Hmm.
Yeah. What did you and Julie do for New Year's and Christmas?
Yeah. So we went to our cousins here, and yeah, they just bought us a bunch of. Imagine, like, people who usually do the registries for getting their baby shower or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, imagine that, but from one group of people, and it's just like they bought like almost more than half of the stuff on the list. So I felt like I did the list for nothing. Like I didn't even give it to anybody yet. You get what I
So
mean?
is the list was the list intended just for them, or was it
No, it
supposed to be
was
for
supposed to
a
be for
greater
like
group?
people that are gonna go to the baby
Everybody.
shower, but then
Okay.
they ended up buying. Well, it's not they; it's just one person. I'm not gonna name any names, um, but yeah, they that person just bought everything, almost everything. But I mean, it's good that there were still some stuff that we can probably put on the list for the baby shower and stuff. So yeah,
Wow.
hmm yeah,
That they were being helpful, but at the same time they ruined the
the whole
planning
spirit.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And I don't think they understand, the whole American tradition, how we have to do certain things a certain way.
yeah.
So I mean, it worked out okay because we're able to update the list. So other
Okay.
than that, everything else was good. Over the break, I was able to do something that I kind of miss doing. You remember the times when we used to do beer knots, and I used to be behind the camera, and then making sure that everything's good.
Yeah,
Um,
judging my performance while you just sat behind the camera
yeah.
and said, "Be funnier." I'm like, "What the?
Speak
Thanks, director."
louder. Yeah, so a little bit after the New Year's, I went to Dallas, and I was working with some people that are trying to do a live stream on Facebook.
Okay.
So I had my laptop. I brought this camera right here. I also brought this mic, um, and I did a 2 camera shoot to do a live stream. And dude, it looks freaking legit. Like I was really surprised in how much I was able to get out of it and make it look legit, because we have a very famous Vietnamese host. She was hosting it, and I felt like we were going so low budget, but we have a very high budget host. Um,
I
but
was
it
gonna
worked
say,
out.
okay, so can you shout it out or say the name, or is it still? Well, it's a live stream, right? You said
Oh
it's a live
no,
stream.
she sponsors a lot of people, so I mean I wouldn't mind. Her name is uh, okay. So the weird thing is Asian cultures sometimes you
Yeah.
say the last name first before you say the first name.
Yes, I stumbled upon that with China. Yes.
Yeah. So her last name is Wen.
Uh-huh.
Typical. Uh, Wen Cao is her dad's name. He is
Okay.
a very famous political person in Vietnam. And her name is Gay Ying, which is in if you read it in English, it would just be KY, Key, and then
Okay.
Duyen, which is Duyen, but it's pronounced Ying.
Okay.
It's
I'll
weird.
take your word for it.
so
Um,
so her name
it,
is Wing Gao Ying.
so I mean, you really just sent me a quick shot of the
Mm-hmm.
the setup and the your what you're seeing from your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like some sort of tutorial kind of thing, or
It
was
looks
it?
like a tutorial thing, but it's not. It's basically, well, in a way, it is because we had a professional nail artist, and they were working on her nails. So while they were doing that, they were trying to celebrate the Chinese New Year that's coming up. So this is a live stream that is also trying to celebrate the New Year's and also kind of edging towards that Chinese New Year. So she's getting
Okay.
her nails ready for the next couple events that are coming up.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I saw that. I was like, wow, Anton's back at it again.
Yeah, dude, it's
Uh,
so cool. Like, I mean, I'm switching between the cameras, and I'm telling the camera guy what to do. And I mean, I wish I was able to do a lot more with the camera because there was a lot
yeah.
of shots I wanted that he doesn't know, and he kept zooming in and cutting the head off, and I keep telling him to zoom
Oh,
out.
he can,
Yeah,
tried
imagine, imagine. Yeah,
he
like
tried to do
that.
dynamic shooting instead of static.
This is his close up, but it's not
That's
even a close
nice.
up, and this is his wide.
It's
He
nice. I
keeps it
mean,
like this.
I mean, who doesn't want to see your the base of your mic stand mic arm there?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, no, that's bad. Uh, yeah, I mean, to be fair, before I started working with you, that's probably how I would shoot.
Yeah.
Uh, now I know a little bit better about framing stuff.
Hmm.
Not still amateur, but at least I can do a decent job.
Yeah.
At least not cut people's foreheads off.
I don't think I was even supposed to do the live stream. It was kind of last minute. Like the day before I flew over there, they called and asked, "Hey, are you bringing your camera?" I'm like, "I'm bringing a small one, like a handheld one. Why?" They're like, "Oh, we need you for a live stream." And I was like, "Wow, I wish I could have known this earlier. I could have went to work and grabbed my other gear, which is my actual camera that I have there, and I
So
would bring a lot more stuff, you know."
so was this a paid gig or was this a big favor for somebody?
It was more of a favor,
Okay.
but I mean, I work with a company that works with another company, so I
Okay.
mean, at the same time, I'm getting paid for what I'm doing over here, but also, helping out. So I
Well,
mean, it's a win-win.
yeah, at the very least, your name might be tossed out there in case somebody wanted to call in another favor. Uh,
Yeah.
all
If I
right,
had time. Oh my god,
right.
it took like
It's
5 hours.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Julie can watch the baby for a few months or a few weeks by herself. It's fine.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, Don. You want to just get into the news already?
Yeah. Let's get into the show.
All right. Just some quick news stories here. We really want to dive into the meat and potatoes of the episode this week,
Oh, that
coming back
sounds
from New
really good
Year.
right now, dude. Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes, just generic meat and some
Yeah.
potatoes.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm just gonna go to McDonald's and then order like a Big Mac and just take the lettuce off, take the buns off, and I would just eat the meat. And I'm just gonna put some fries on top, so it would just be McDonald's patties and fries.
I would just say that I would just say go to In-N-Out, get it a protein
Hey,
style,
I
but I'm
don't
like, all
have In
right,
and Out here.
Florida.
Hey, you know what?
I know.
You know what? When I was in Dallas, I had In and Out.
You didn't have Whataburger?
I no, it's funny. Here's a funny thing. After In and Out, we went to Whataburger, and oh my god, dude, I'm gonna tell you this. It has so much freaking mustard in there. It is
Yes, it does. Yes,
so
it does.
much mustard. It's
That was
crazy.
one of my observations is
Hmm.
that they put as much mustard in there as I use ketchup.
Yeah, and I have nothing against Texans, but man, hands down, In and Out any day. I don't know what you're talking about over there with Whataburger. It's In and Out all the way. All right, back to the show.
All right. All right. First story here. MCU. Kevin Feige did a Q&A session at the New York Film Academy, in which one of the people in the audience asked them about when the MCU would or if they had any plans about bringing more LGBTQ plus characters, more specifically a transgender character. There was a lot of commotion in the audience between the person asking the question and the people on the stage. So there's some confusion. The first couple of headlines that came out of this was that Kevin Feige confirmed first transgender superhero coming soon,
Hmm.
in which it was later quickly corrected, which I saw the video and I don't know how they made that mistake. Kevin Feige was just saying that there would be more LGBTQ representation in the MCU very soon,
Hmm.
not specifically transgender.
Hmm.
Um, I think this goes back
People take
to
it out of
people just
context, dude. Especially media these days, they don't have a specific place for the source, and they should
and
do more research.
this even for our little social media, I always watch the videos first before I post any like
Yeah,
quotes.
you need proof, dude.
Uh, yeah, exactly. And that's
I,
when I saw them
I
like,
I ain't looking at some article and believing everything that they're saying there. I need the source.
yeah, which I saw. I was like, and it says like Variety confirms. I'm like, no shit, Variety. All right. Next one here. Golden Globes. They happened last weekend, or actually earlier this week, right?
Yes,
Can't
earlier
remember.
this week. It was Sunday,
Early,
last Sunday.
okay. There you go. That's why I kind of ran through my week.
Hmm.
And Ricky Gervais was hosting again. assuming for the last time, he was very vocal about that it'd be his last time hosting, saying that he'd be too old to host again.
No, I think they'll want him to host again. I mean,
They'll want,
dude, it's got a lot of viewers just because people want to watch him roast other celebrities. So,
but okay, yeah, and that's the thing. I really think he said that so that if people did get pissed off at his jokes or what he was saying this time around, there would be no uh fire him, blah blah blah, just because it's allegedly his last time. And if he doesn't, if they don't bring him back, he could just say, well, that was my last time. If they
yeah.
bring him back, he can say, I wanted to do it again. uh so the thing that got the most social media attention here is his opening monologue,
Hmm.
where he asks winners not to use their acceptance speech to make a political statement. Quote, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech. You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you have spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So if you win tonight, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent, your God, and fuck off.
And I love him for saying that because I mean it's so true. I mean, you know, uh, see, even a lot of the other celebrities who weren't there totally agrees with it too. You know, like don't get too political with it because you know you're an actor. I mean, yes, you have a platform to do something about your own good or something that you care about, but you know they're gonna kick you off. You only have
It's,
so much time on stage.
it's not just that, it's just it's something that comes off as a little hypocritical.
Hmm.
Like celebrities will talk about a certain cause or strong belief that they have in something, and really, I mean, I think only a handful of actors that I've heard that actually kind of like walk the walk.
Hmm.
Um,
Like
the one like
Oprah
I
saying whatever she wants to say. I mean, I'm all for it because she is making a big
yeah,
impact in the world. I
exactly,
mean, if
exactly.
you're
She
an
supports.
actor, go out and do more. You know, like
Yes,
Joaquin Phoenix, he actually goes on like these really crazy marches with a lot of people
yeah.
through LA and making a big statement. Some of these other people, all they're doing is just you know just saying it, but they're not
Well,
doing anything about it.
I think the one that kind of gets a lot of like attention is Leonardo DiCaprio. He's very vocal about the environment,
Yeah, like
how
I'm
much he
okay with
believes in
him
it.
saying it because he actually drives a Prius around when he's not driving his toy like
He
Lamborghinis and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, but he has also had scripts flown to him via private jet.
yeah.
So that's kind of like the like those weird things, or I forget which uh Kardashian it was, but they posted about the wildfires in Australia, and then literally within a couple hours, the very next post um was, oh sorry, the first post was about the wildfires and all the loss of animals because of the fires, and her very next post was about her new line of mink slippers, real fur. And she got called out for being hypocritical there, and she ended up donating, I think, $1 million to the wildlife.
Yeah,
Don't
it's all
quote me on the
marketing.
amount.
It's all marketing.
uh, Either way though,
Yeah.
it's funny, and I love that Ricky Gervais said this. And I mean, coming back to him, it's funny, the reaction. I think the vast majority of people loved it and agreed with him, but there was that subset of people that like were either outraged at him,
Hmm.
telling him to go back to where he came from, and then there was the other people that were just purely in denial that were saying, "Oh, he's being sarcastic." I'm like, "No, that's not Ricky Gervais is not sarcastic. He's very blunt, and that's where his comedy is."
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
so
okay with people beating him up for what he said, but you know,
yeah,
no one else is gonna say it. So, you
no,
know,
his strategy is very, I'm gonna say what I have to say, and then the comedy comes from the reaction.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It's funny
so
how uncomfortable a lot of the actors and actresses were just sitting there taking it in.
Oh, Tom Hanks's reaction was hilarious. Uh,
It became a meme.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna correct myself.
Mm.
Ricky Gervais says what he says, but he throws in a lot of, yeah, okay, just come up and accept your little award, yeah, and then,
You know what? I feel bad for Tim Cook. Like, he was the nicest guy there. He's the nicest guy there, even on camera. Before he even starts telling joke, that like you could see Tim Cook like just smiling, like, "Oh my god, what's going on?"
yeah, I saw that video. That was a little cringy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, I wish I saw the show live if
Hmm.
that was any indication of what the rest of the Globes was like. Um, damn it, Gervais.
Yeah.
All right. Next story here, and this is more of a local news. Disneyland Resort here in Southern California is giving back to SoCal. Well, not giving back, but giving SoCal residents a nice little special. They're reducing their prices for a limited time for
$67.
the $67 a day for
Mm-hmm.
single park tickets if you buy 3 day pack.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 day tickets, 3 day single park ticket, which you can use for either park, either DCA or Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, that's like what, like 40% off?
Yeah, but I mean, if you get the pass,
Well, SoCal Pass, I think is at the top of my head, I think it's 500, 600 now.
yeah, because I mean, if you're already paying so much already, I'd rather just put in a little bit more. And okay, so $67. That's without tax yet. Times three.
Yeah, let's just say 200.
Times 7.5% or eight and a
Just
half
say,
percent.
just put it at, just put it at nine. Worst case scenario, 9%.
9%. That's $219. And if the lowest pass is about
Say 600.
600,
Yeah.
yeah. So 380. So you have to pay an extra 380.
Yeah, I think you're right. That I
Yeah.
mean, really, that's like the down payment of the the SoCal Pass
Yeah.
because the down payment is um at least the price of one ticket.
Mm-hmm. And as long as you
And
go like 10 times, dude, you already made your money back.
still so many blackout dates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but well, no, good point though. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still wouldn't consider SoCal Pass. I'd still go at least to the second from the top.
Mm-hmm.
At least get the free parking.
Yeah.
All right, Anton. That's all we had for news. Are you ready to get into our best of 2019?
Yes. Let's go ahead and get into the best of 2019.
All right. I've been waiting for this one since our break. I've been tooling around with the categories and
Okay.
my selection.
All right.
All right. All right, Anton. Let's start with the big ones here. Top three movies. Do you want to go first or should I?
You want to go all three, or do you want to go one, one, one,
Let's.
one, back and forth?
I'll go from. You know what? You start off, but start off at your number three.
Okay, so we'll seesaw it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I
All right,
saw.
so all right, so my number three movie for 2019, I would have to say is Uncut Gems.
Really? All
Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
That is a Netflix original, right? Or is that theatrical
I think
release?
it's a theatrical release, but I think one of the streaming services took it. Let me double check real quick.
Because I know that one. It was very limited release.
Mhm.
So I think it was mainly released in some major markets for award consideration
Yes,
and
Netflix
festivals.
internationally though. Like if you're in a
Okay.
different country, you can watch this movie on Netflix. But if you're in the States, you have to watch this movie in the movie theaters.
Yeah, and again, that's probably for theatrical. That's probably for award reasons, which is
Hmm.
working. I've heard a lot of buzz around around Adam Sandler and his performance in that
Yeah,
movie.
dude, this movie is so freaking good. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I guess I'm gonna do a review on this real quick because it's fairly new.
All right, all right.
Yeah, dude, this movie is at the edge of your seat the whole entire time. Imagine this: you're you're putting a bet in Vegas,
Hmm.
and every time you put a bet in Vegas, I don't know if you ever did, um,
You
you're
lose it.
you lose it, right? Like you have that really big gut feeling that you're like, I know I'm gonna lose it. It's so risky, but it's okay. Because I mean,
It's
sometimes
for
you put like
fun.
$20. That's fine. $20, that's fine. That's it. You're
That's true.
done.
Yeah,
You don't play anymore.
that's true. You go in with the mentality is with 99% of the chance I'm gonna lose this money and walk away with nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So imagine watching a movie and he's putting in a bet. Let's say his bet is like $20, but he takes the
Okay.
$20, he puts it in, and then he takes something else from somewhere and he puts it in. And he takes something else from somewhere and he puts it in, and all this depth is like going on and on and on and on throughout the whole entire movie, and you're like, oh my god, this is getting so bad. When is it gonna end? When is it gonna stop? I mean,
He keeps doubling down.
yeah, it's crazy. Like you're throughout the whole entire movie, like you're biting your nails. Like that's how like agitated you are watching this movie.
Hmm.
And this is a really different role for Adam Sandler.
Hmm.
Totally different role because
I've
well, I mean, you're probably so used to watching him do comedy because that's all he's ever done besides like Click.
Oh God,
Such
that
a
was
bad
terrible.
movie.
Wasn't that Christopher Walken cameo in that one too?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh God. Um, yeah, I've the vast majority of what I heard for Adam Sandler's performance this one is that it's he does a great job.
yeah.
But there are a few people I've heard that say they can't get past it being Adam Sandler. Like he can
Hmm.
be yelling and cursing, but to them it still comes off as Adam Sandler being Adam
Okay, there's a
Sandler.
good reason for that, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if you heard about how this movie came out to be.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so 10 years ago, the Safdie brothers. These are two guys straight from college, and they wrote this movie. They wrote this script, and they had Adam Sandler in mind
Hmm.
because they like that crazy side of Adam Sandler where he's yelling all the time.
Yeah.
So when they wrote the script, they had him in mind the whole entire time. So when they finished the script, they sent it to his manager.
Hmm.
But his manager is like, "This is such a serious film. Adam's never gonna do that." So he tosses it.
Wait. So Adam Sandler got the part because they saw uh uh, Happy Gilmore, and he was yelling at the ball, "Go in your home. Are you too good for your own home?"
It's funny. That's not the only movie. It's a bunch of movies
I
combining.
know. That's all
But
his movies. What
that's
are you talking
funny.
about?
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so first time they sent it over, got scrapped from the manager. Never even made it to Adam. And then 5 years later, they're like, you know what? We'll try it again. So they sent it again. Uh, the manager got it again. He's like, there's no way they're gonna do this. So he just tosses it somewhere. And then a couple years later, same thing again. These guys are like, you know what? We're gonna try it again. So they sent it in to him, and this time it did get to him.
Hmm.
But then he looked at it. He's like, man, this looks too serious. Nah.
He's
So he
all,
puts,
"This is stupid. Why didn't my manager catch this one? This is dumb."
yeah, he's like, wow, this is really good, but this is dumb. And so he puts it, somewhere. And then he watches Good Times, which is a movie by Safdie brothers. It stars Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
And he's like, wow, this is a really good movie. Wait, these guys wrote this script. So then he starts reading it, and he's like, man, these guys wrote it for me. Like, this character is like, a part of uh, um, how I structure when I talk. So then he's
Hmm.
like, you know what, I'll do it. So then that's how this movie came together. So it never really meant to be um, made now. It was supposed to be made 10 years ago.
So it was a tailored suit for Adam Sandler, and he refused to try it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this part was made for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why
Well, that's
a
good.
lot of people saw this that way.
Well, I mean, I think I'm gonna be one of those people that can't get away from Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler, but I can't ignore the reviews. So
Hmm. Hey,
I'll
it's
definitely have to
got
check it out.
fresh tomatoes still, so it's way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My number three. Uh, I don't know if you'll be surprised or if you'll be expecting this one. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Um, it's
Really?
it had a lot of negative feedback from
Hmm.
the raging nerds, which ooh, big surprise. Uh, but personally, like I had a really good experience watching this movie. I got the feels at different parts, a few jaw-dropping moments. By the way, I really wish that they gave oh my god, I'm blanking on her name now. The girl who played Felicity, something Russell, Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell.
Carrie
Yeah.
Russell. I really wish they gave Carrie Russell a better part, or at least let her take off the helmet. Because damn it, she was funny and badass all in once without even.
Hey, maybe there's gonna be a spinoff. I don't know.
I really hope they're gonna do a solo movie with her,
Hmm.
um, at least a kind of a cameo in the show because it's a really intriguing character and they reference so many things in the past that might make good storylines.
Hmm.
And overall, I thought it was a good dovetail for the Skywalker saga.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny because some of the things I saw people raging about, it's referenced in previous movies.
Hmm.
Even as much as the stuff about like, oh, how did what's it called? Stuff about fuel. When did fuel become a thing in Star Wars? I'm like, it's been a thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's
been
been a thing.
references.
They
Yeah,
reference in almost everything. Yeah.
yeah. Like it's dumb things.
Coaxial.
Like
They need coaxial.
but like it's dumb things that like I probably wouldn't have thought about if I didn't rewatch the movies, but because they were so fresh in my mind, I was able to like, oh crap, yeah, that is a throwback, or oh, that's a reference to this. And I know we'll go further into it in our streaming part later, but I I thought it was a good tie up to this part, to the saga, and I can't wait for the individual movies that are coming out of the Star Wars
Okay.
world, Star Wars galaxy coming forward.
Hmm. I, I do have some things to say about it, but I'll wait until the very end.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So what's your number two?
My number two is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I really thought that was weird.
The reason why I say that is because I really enjoy this movie. It was really fun. You're going to the movies. You you don't know what the movie's gonna be about. I mean, you have a fair clue of when it takes place and where it's gonna go. But the conversations that are in this movie is what really makes a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And I had a joy of watching every single scene because you've seen the movie, right?
No, I still haven't.
Okay.
Um, but it's funny because for the longest time there was no real idea what the story was going to be, other than a general idea of what decade it took place in and it being about Hollywood until they start mentioning names of characters,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of piece together what the story's going to be.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing that you probably, yeah, Swift right past it. You probably didn't notice it. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this movie had a script and it leaked. So they had to burn the whole entire script. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do what they had in the original script. So this new
Mhm.
script is a totally different vibe. So I can only imagine what I mean. It's out there on the internet. You can read the whole entire script of what they leaked, but I didn't read it, so I don't know how different it is to what they had in the final film. But
Hmm.
yeah, like I said earlier, the conversations that they have with all the different characters in this movie, everyone is so rich in their character. Like the way that there's this little girl in the movie, and when Leonardo DiCaprio um, has conversations with her, it's so genuine and it's so
Oh, I've heard about that.
smart. You know,
Yeah,
like
I heard about that. Some of her reactions are some of his reactions to her are genuine.
yeah, it's like
Like,
wait, what?
yeah,
Big shocker, you know.
yeah. No, I did hear about that scene or those
Mhm.
scenes with her.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think the only thing that kept me away from that is the I heard it's a very slow pace,
Mhm.
and I can withstand long movies uh in the theater. I mean, Star Wars,
Mhm.
but there's so much action, so much going on that it really doesn't feel like 3 hours.
Mhm.
Sometimes it does, but the
Yes.
majority of times it
True.
doesn't.
Mhm.
But a Tarantino movie for 3 hours that's known to be slow pace.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can tolerate it.
That's true. I can only imagine when the 4 hour movie cut is going to be released. I don't know how you would feel about that because that's coming out very soon. Uh,
Director's cut.
yeah, director's cut, 4 hours long. Mm-hmm. All right.
I'll watch it in
So,
bits.
yeah. So, what's your, oh, we'll talk about that later, I guess.
Okay.
This other long movie. All
All
right.
right.
So, what's your second?
Avengers Endgame.
Mm, 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 mm.
Similar to, I mean, this was really the end of 2019 was the end of major stories.
Mm-hmm.
The Skywalker, the Skywalker saga. Now Avengers Endgame with a great climatic end to a decade's worth of movies that built up to this conclusion. Um, and 2019 had like what Game of Thrones ending too. It's a sad year, but also a great year.
Mm-hmm.
And I the last scene of Avengers Endgame, the fight, the I am Iron Man, everything just kind of ugh.
There's a lot of fan service
both
in
of
that
these
movie.
are both of these are a lot of fan service, but I
Mm-hmm.
have nothing against fan service as
Mm-hmm.
long as it doesn't slow down the story. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, Tom.
All right. So, my number one movie of
Number one.
2019 is Parasite. This
Ah,
movie is
expensive.
so damn good. It deserves to be the best movie of 2019. And the reason why is, like I said in my number two movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is it has really good conversations. And not only that, it keeps you at the edge of your seat the whole entire time. You don't know where it's going to lead you. And there's so many twists and turns throughout the whole entire movie. It keeps the movie fresh every single time it introduces something new.
Mhm.
And yeah, when you thought you knew where the movie's going, it's not. It's really not. And that's why I think this movie is so good. It's because it's got everything that you want in a movie, and it's
Mhm.
very rare to have something like that. I mean, in the '90s we got some really good films. In the early 2000s we got really good films. In the late 2000s was kind of iffy with a lot of the films that I've seen. Um, but I have a feeling that it's starting to get back into that groove where we're getting some really good movies now.
Yeah. Again, my first two movies have been very CGI heavy, very
Mm-hmm.
as Scorsese said, they're theme park movies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're seeing more and more of uh, cinematically classic movies.
Yeah.
Um, that you don't need a big budget. You just have a camera and really good actors behind in front of it,
Hmm.
with a great director behind it, and make some great movies.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think that goes back to streaming services being able to give a platform to these small studios or small directors.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. And I really appreciate a lot of the movies that have a lot of depth to it, where it has a lot of meaning. Uh, like when you watch a movie and then you have conversations afterwards with whoever you're watching the movie with, and you constantly have these thoughts and you keep going back to the movie. You talk about it for days.
Yeah.
It's really
Pause.
rare to find that.
Pause there.
Yeah.
I still have to like tell. You reminded me. I still have to tell my girlfriend when we're walking out of the theater,
Hmm.
um, to not
Shush.
talk. Yeah, to not talk about spoilers on the way out.
Hmm. Yeah.
I just remember that when I saw Star Wars.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my God, can you?" I'm like, "No, uh,
Yeah. It's funny.
all right.
Like, for me, whenever I go see a movie with Julie, uh,
Mm,
after the movies, when we walk out of the theater, I'm like, there's so much that is going through my mind right now. I want to talk about it, but I have to wait until you go to the bathroom, and then we have to walk out to the parking lot, get into the car, and go, and then
yeah,
start
I
saying
know
whatever. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
All right, Don. My number one, and I think it's going to be a lot of the similar points that we were saying right now.
Hmm.
Uh, is a big screw you to Disney because the first two were Disney related, but
Hmm.
this is DC. Joker.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Joaquin Phoenix gave an unbelievable solo performance.
Hmm.
It's a solid story that still leaves room for interpretation,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of symbolism in the movie. A lot of it is blatantly over the top obvious,
Hmm.
but there's still enough in it that you can kind of analyze it. And uh, Joker also gets a lot of points for it being a real surprise.
Hmm.
I don't think anybody expected DC to bust out this type of movie.
Hmm.
Um, DC's been really consistent with making cheesy, CGI heavy,
Hmm.
bad story movies. So props to Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker.
Yeah, great job, DC. Letting Todd Phillips do this is, I think that was such a bold move and
Yeah.
such the best move ever. DC, great job.
I really hope that that DC does not pursue the sequel. A lot of rumors saying that Todd Phillips is considering making the second sequel.
Doesn't need to.
It doesn't need to. You're right, and
Yeah.
then that's why I want to. But right now, it's
Hmm.
a big money grab.
I mean, I'm
Uh,
okay it being a sequel if it follows up with someone else feeding off of the Joker vibe, and let's say Jared Leto's character was revolving around the original Joker. That would be
mhm,
really cool.
yeah.
That's something that I would like to have, so then they can keep everything in the same storyline. Yeah, but that's just my
Mm.
thoughts.
I just think it's too stressful on Joaquin Phoenix in that one. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a lot for him. He even said that he was trying to go a little bit crazy just on the diet that he had to go through and the physical stress he put on his body
Hmm.
added to his little bit of cuckoo.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
Anton.
So for my dark horses,
Or honorable mention, yeah, either one.
yeah, honorable mentions. I have two movies, and I'll
Okay,
just say straight on.
go on.
It's Joker and
Okay.
Avengers. So it's on your list.
This was a really random one that
Hmm.
I forgot about, but then I remembered how much I loved it in the theater, to the point where my asthma acted up.
Whoa.
Uh, good,
That's the first
good
time I ever
boys.
heard that.
Yeah, good boys.
Good Boys.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
have you seen it yet?
No, I have not seen it yet. That's
It's
something I want to see. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's freaking hysterical. I really didn't, I really don't think that's kind of my kind of movie that I would like.
Hmm.
I tend to get annoyed by stupid comedy, but this was just the right amount of stupid without it being
Mm-hmm.
cheesy bad. So I loved it, and I mean a bold move getting three young actors giving them that much camera, wiggle room and that much comedic presence on screen.
I think the biggest comedy, well, action comedy movie that I think Julie laughed a lot at was Jumanji.
The sequel.
Yeah.
I want to see that so bad. That's one I wanted to see, but we didn't have time during Christmas time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta catch it before it leaves the
Oh,
theater.
the first one had me cracking up, dude, and I really wanted to see the second one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Anton. Let's move on to our top three TV/streaming shows.
All right, let's get
Uh,
to top three streaming TV shows.
all right, I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
I'll start my number three. This is technically counts as a streaming show because it's broken down into episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a mini series or docu series. Don't fuck with cats.
Oh, love that, dude. It's
You saw,
yeah.
you know what? It was between this one and my honorable mention, but as I was talking to my girlfriend about it, she's like, "I really liked it, and you liked it enough that you're flipping between your number three and your honorable mention." I just want to point out that true crime is not really your genre, and you binged the crap out of this. I'm like, that's a fair point. It sucked me in, and this is not my genre. I'm like, that gets extra
The
points.
way that they laid it out,
Uh,
telling the
the
story.
the last
Yeah.
2 minutes pisses me off. I think that's a very cheesy. It was a really cheesy thing to throw in. But the rest of the series was great.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what. It kind of reminds me of when I first watched the Catfish documentary.
Oh, the first one. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
just
I felt about
that.
it. Like throughout the whole entire movie, I had the same feeling as what I was watching with Don't Fuck with Cats. But towards the end, it's kind of like,
You have a
okay,
little bit of anxiety, like what the fuck is
yeah,
happening? It's like that, like the breadcrumbs. Like they just keep giving you little bits to like
hmm,
keep luring you in.
yeah,
Um, yeah, the ending. It reminded me of The Simpsons, the episode of Who Shot Mr. Burns,
hmm,
where they're panning across the characters in Springfield, and finally they land on Dr. Hibbert saying, "I I can't seem to solve this. Can you?"
I remember that one, dude.
Yeah,
That was funny.
that's what the ending of this one reminded me of.
Hmm.
It's just bad. I'm like, they really didn't need that.
Yeah,
It's so hack.
yeah. But it's funny because, like, I mean, they spent so much time of their life, working
Yeah,
on something like this, and
they,
where did they go from here? You know?
I mean, small spoiler for the people
Hmm.
who haven't seen it, but like they could have honestly ended it with the two main people meeting each other for the first time and left it there.
Yeah, I would have been happy just that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly.
All right.
But
So, all right, my number three is, man, this is really hard. I'm trying to really put it into like a certain, but I'm gonna have to say my third one is Terrace House.
oh yeah, you did talk about that
Yeah,
one a while.
yeah,
Yeah,
Terrace House is a really big winner for me for the third place because I never really wanted to watch any of it. I had no interest of watching it, but man, when you start watching it, it sucks you in.
yeah,
Like the people on there are very sincere. Everybody's so nice to each other, and you just want the best for everybody. And the more you watch it, the more you tend to be like, man, am I like that person? And sometimes you can relate and stuff like that. So I think that's the reason why you keep watching is because you want the best for everybody. Because
yeah,
some people come there for love, some people come there to be inspired. Because the people that they put on the show are like fresh out of college or in college or doing something that is very impactful and inspires other people. Like there's a manga artist in there. There's a person who's
Diff-
like, fashion
Di-
model.
different icons
Yeah.
or people that can look, other people can look up to.
Yeah, there's like a starting out musicians, comedians. Yeah, like
Just go to SoundCloud, you're fine.
yeah, so that's why I like it so much. And I'm always looking forward every single week to watching it. So yeah,
Okay.
Terrace House is my third one.
I just realized I didn't say what "Don't Fuck with Cats" is. It's a true crime show that they start to examine the investigation that a Facebook group did to uncover who was posting videos of themselves killing cats
Murdering
and,
cats.
and what it could lead to.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's a documentary about that Facebook group trying to figure out who it was and the aftermath.
Hmm.
All right. My number two, Anton, and this is one that I cannot wait for season two. Dickinson on Apple TV Plus.
Hmm. You talked
Uh,
about that quite a
I
bit.
I did. Haley Steinfeld was amazing as one. Uh, Wiz Khalifa was odd death. Uh, but it was a great show. I usually don't like period shows or movies, but this was done in a way that's very modern and it kept me engaged. It was funny. It was smart humor, and I mean it was great enough that on my anniversary trip, my girlfriend, um, we would go out to eat, walk around, explore. Um, any chance we got, we were both wanted to like finish watching the show.
Hmm.
So good
So,
job, Apple.
so question. Since it was an Apple TV show, where did you watch it on?
My iPad.
iPad. Okay,
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah.
Cool. All right, so my number two is The Witcher.
Ah, I want to see that
Man,
one.
it is so good. This is probably by far one of the best adapted. Well,
Did you? Okay, okay.
it's a
First off,
book, then it's a video game, then
yes,
now it's a TV show.
yeah. Did you play the video game or read the books?
I did not do either.
How are you with keeping up with the story?
The story is actually I kept up with the story quite well
Okay.
because I mean I played a lot of fantasy games and yeah, everything I picked up really fast, and plus Julie is really into these type of shows too because she loves Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
so
that's
she
true.
she picked it up quite quickly.
Uh, I really want to get into it, but I've heard it's a lot of background they have to get, and it's a really different world than if you're not familiar
Mm-mm-mm.
with it.
You
Okay,
you're gonna fit in just fine.
okay.
Yeah, I love this show, dude. It is so
It's
surprisingly good. It okay, so we were at Comic Con. I was able to get to the panel.
uh,
Stuff that I did see there got me really excited for it to be on Netflix and be able to watch it. And yeah, the hype for me is still there. Like,
I mean, ever since Comic-Con,
mhm.
all I really saw up until late November about Witcher was Henry Cavill in a bathtub. Like that's like the thing that kept circling around the internet until we
Yeah,
finally started getting trailers or previews of the
he
show.
fanboyed so much playing this role because he changed the way that he speaks in this movie. I mean, in this show, to sound exactly like Geralt from the video game.
Okay, so you try to match the voice. I wonder if he's talked to the voice actor, like work with him.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Tom. My number one. Do you want to guess what it is?
I don't because it might be my number one.
It is The Mandalorian
Oh yes,
on Disney Plus
yeah,
because
it's
I binged the crap out of it.
hands down, dude, hands down. The best show of 2019 right now is The Mandalorian, hands down.
Ah,
It is so
it
well written. The characters are so lovable. Every single character, besides the lovable characters, is freaking awesome.
it's and also the formatting is just great. Like it's
Hmm.
the episodes are long enough that we don't feel like we're cheated
I
on
thought it
story.
was too short, but actually
Ex-
it made
It's
sense. It made
it's
sense.
35 to 40 minutes an episode,
Hmm.
and I like it because it's long enough that you don't feel cheated on the story,
Hmm.
but short enough that you don't feel bad when you say, just one more episode.
Man, I wish
uh,
I had that. I had to wait every single week because I was so into it. Yeah.
it's just funny seeing the interactions that like the between characters,
Hmm.
between Pedro Pascal's Mando and
Hmm.
Gina Carano's character,
Hmm.
uh, them fighting, and that one scene where they're fighting at the bar, practically gonna kill each other, and then finally the fighting just stops when they hear, and the camera pans to see the baby, the what's it
The
called?
child.
I don't want to call it the child. There you go, the
Hmm.
child, sitting there sipping tea, going, "What's up,
No, no,
guys?"
it's not tea. It's bone broth.
Bone broth. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, I got sucked in by the memes.
Hmm.
Sipping bone broth, saying, "What's up, guys? What's going on here?" And then the Mando just turns to Gina Carano's character and, "So
You
you
want
want
some
to
bone
get some
broth?
soup?" And he wants.
Yeah, dude. John Favreau, such a great, um, such a great time for him to be able to do what he really likes. I mean, he grew up with this stuff too, and to see him bring Marvel onto the big screen and being able to see him uh, with his own vision for Star Wars is crazy, crazy good.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't just I can't wait until to see what else we're gonna get because Dave Filoni is such a great director and writer for um, the Clone Wars and
Hmm.
Rebels. Dude, I would just want him to direct a Star Wars movie. I'm totally down to watch that. John has proved to us that he's able to do that too.
Well, I think the first real movie that I saw and recognized John Favreau's name was the first Avengers movie, right? That was him.
Yeah, the first Iron Man movie. Yep.
First Iron Man movie, right?
Hmm.
Because before that, I really didn't know his name. I recognized his last name, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you any movies or shows
Chef,
that
the
I.
best movie ever, according
No,
to.
that was after. That was after.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, dude. I think the only real negative that came out of the Mandalorian was the delay in toy release that they
Hmm.
missed the Disney, which is funny because the there's like all these like articles come out. The Mandalorian is responsible for Disney missing out on potentially millions of dollars in sales, and I'm like, no, they'll get it eventually.
Hmm.
They're not going to get it all in one big, like sale before Christmas, but they'll get it. They've gotten in pre-orders already. They're fine.
Hmm.
Disney's fine. All right, Anton. Let's go to our next category here.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you there.
Oh, that's right,
Um,
right.
no, no, no. It's you probably know John Favreau from Friends.
I do.
Yeah, you watch Friends, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think through the
He
episodes.
in some of the episodes he was dating Monica.
Was it his skinny years?
Yeah,
Holy crap!
you should look at the pictures, dude. I'll send
I
I'll message it through here because you got to look at this because it's beyond
I
crazy.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Are you sending it through Discord
Yeah, I'm gonna
or?
send you through Discord. You're gonna see it here on the channel. There we go.
Oh, he looks like a yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay, you're right. But thing is, I wouldn't. He was just like a side character. He was
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
a throwaway character, I should say. Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, again, as a director, I wouldn't recognize him.
No. He was also in the movies Swingers, I think. Yeah, he directed
Uh,
Swingers with Vince Vaughn and
mm,
I
not
forgot
not
his
my
name.
not my thing. Not my
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Uh, honorable mentions for TV shows. Do you have any?
Yes, I
I have.
do. It is not in any order, but I have The Boys, which
That
is
was
a
my first.
show on Amazon.
That was my honorable mention. That was
Hmm.
between that one and Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't Fuck with Cats is also one of them.
Okay.
And my last one is You, season 2.
My girlfriend is binging that one.
Yeah.
She loves it. She wants me to check
Man.
it out, but she
You
knows
haven't seen the first season yet, right?
no, no.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
she knows this isn't my usual genre,
It's
so
not, dude.
she's not pushing
It's
me.
good. It's really good.
I've seen the memes. The one where it shows the guy looking at his phone. It says, "If he can kill people and still text back, you can do better in your relationships."
That's so bad. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's on. Ready to move on to our next best award here.
Yes.
This is kind of a random one.
Hmm.
Best streaming service. Who did you pick? Which service did you pick? There's so many that came out this year. So many that were already existing. Which one did you like, or would you say is the best of 2019?
I think Netflix still is on top. I'm gonna say that, and the only reason why is the UI is still good. You complain about the UI a lot, and I think it's still robust. And
No,
it's
the my only real complaint with the Netflix user interface is the
no. You were complaining about the CBS, is what I'm trying to refer to.
oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's because
You
Netflix
mean
is
in
still
general?
robust
Yeah, yeah,
compared
yeah, yeah.
to that. But yeah, I still think a lot of the content on there are still pretty solid. I mean, I still use Netflix daily. Um, yeah, so that's why I think it's the best.
Did you hear that Netflix is testing a speed component or speed option? Like you know how in podcasts or audiobooks you can speed up to point 20 like 1.25
Oh yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
speed or
yeah,
one
yeah.
one
You can
one
do
half
that on
speed.
YouTube too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're testing that out and it's pissing off some directors and producers.
Hmm. Well,
They're
that's
saying that's not,
people's choice. If they want to do that, they can
it
do that.
really is, and
Yeah,
that's what pisses me off too. I'm like, I'm sorry, people paid for it. Like, I get it, that's your art, but if that's how people want to consume your art, then let them.
yeah. I mean,
All
the
right,
motion blur thing makes sense if they're going after that. But yeah.
yeah, all right. For me, I also did not go with one of the new ones. I'm actually going with Hulu,
Hmm.
um, just because that's it. That is one of the places I tend to be on the most. Netflix I will go on to, but I won't really browse Netflix unless I really am desperate for new content.
That's interesting
Uh,
because I think the only reason why you're on Hulu a lot is because it's connected to a lot of television channels, so
yes,
you get
yeah,
a big variety of stuff that you would want to watch.
yeah,
And
exactly.
for me, who I usually see a lot of the TV shows on TV, uh, I would normally stream it through just the channels.
The
But
actual show.
because you have Hulu, you're able to do that. And I think, yeah, you're
Well,
right. Hulu is
it
kind
gives
of.
it gives me a balance of original shows, original
Mhm.
document, like original content, but also lets me catch up with SNL, lets me kind of see other shows that I probably wouldn't have taken the time to watch on network TV. But if it's available for me to stream and check out, I will.
Mhm.
So, all
The
right, it's on.
one draw, oh, sorry, the one
Okay.
drawback for me on Hulu is the anime selections.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Netflix has. We mentioned it before. Netflix has gone strong with anime.
very strong.
Um,
Yeah.
Definitely not the best anime streaming service, but they're trying to get that anime content out there and
Hmm.
creating originals too.
Hmm.
All right, Anton. Our next category, and you know why I created this extra category here. Worst streaming service,
We already know.
CBS All Access.
Hmm.
It's terrible. All right, Anton. That was a quick one here. Moving on to our worst movie of 2019.
600 grand
Uh,
done.
600 Ground. Oh, that's true. You couldn't even get
Hmm.
through it.
Hmm.
For me, I actually went based more on just what kept me away the most, like what I want to check out, and that was Cats. I mean, just from the original trailer that we got, it was so creepy. Cats. I mean, I get it. Cats is a major play that's gone on for decades now, or Broadway show. Sorry. It's it had a budget of 95 million. It had big name actors and singers, performers. There really should have been any reason this movie should have been terrible, but damn it, they found a way
Hmm.
to it resulting in. I mean, with it in theaters, in 3,380 theaters, all those big names, uh, decent budget. It only made 25 million domestic, internationally 54.9 million, and it has a terrible score. It it's had to get updated versions to theaters, because apparently there's some scenes where like what's her name, Judy Dench.
Hmm. Hmm. Was licking
Apparently,
her thing.
what?
No,
No, no, no.
that's
Uh,
what Ricky Gervais was
oh,
saying.
oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
No. Apparently, there's the original copy that theaters got. You can see her real hand, and then they had to send an update to
Hmm.
put in the correct CGI and some other tweaks.
It's
It
not going to
was
make the movie any better.
it really isn't, but the
Uh-huh.
fact it's just terrible. Like they had all the name recognition, the major names. It should not have been as big a flop as it was, and it
Hmm.
totally was. Not even on an airplane would I watch this movie.
Yeah,
And I've seen some terrible movies on
that's
airplanes.
true. That's very true.
All
All
right,
right.
Anton.
So besides worst movie, do we have a worst TV or streaming show?
Yeah, and this is one similar to what you had for Six Underground. I couldn't
Hmm.
even get through the first couple of minutes. C on Apple TV.
Oh yeah, I skipped it because of what you told me. So yeah.
It was just the premise was just terrible.
Hmm.
I could. So that's sort of what the idea looked cool, the show image looked cool, but the execution of it, I couldn't get into it.
Hmm.
It reminded me of what's that Will Smith movie? The what they did with his son?
Pursuit of Happiness.
No, no. There's one like
Say
it's a
with his
sci-fi
son.
one. That no, it's a sci-fi one. They landed on Earth. It's in the future. Uh, uh, what's it called? It's
Oh oh
been a
oh oh
couple.
oh. I know what you're
It's
talking about.
centuries later.
Uh huh.
Everything on this planet has evolved to kill us.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
what?
I skipped that movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it kind
Hmm.
of reminds me.
Hmm.
All right, Anton. That was our recap of 2019. Um, I didn't realize how much came out until I had to put this list together.
Hmm. All
Yeah.
right. So let's breeze on through movies.
All right, let's go into movies here, Anton. All right. Whoops, I'm in the wrong category here. All right. So box office numbers, and I apologize. I mean, new year, same bullshit. I didn't prepare. uh, quick, Anton, do some ad libbing while I pull up the numbers.
Yeah. So this week I got this little plaque thing in the mail. I don't know if you got this too.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Yeah, yeah, the ticket
Yeah.
from Adam Ticket.
It's pretty cool.
I know I like it. I have not taken the little foggy film off yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. I'm like, should I take it off?
I
I
really,
probably shouldn't.
yeah, I want to keep the protector protected. No, you're right. I like it. It came out great.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm glad I have it.
Hmm.
All right. So numbers as of January 8th, 2020. Number one, still Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Total of 460.9 million. Uh, Number two, Little Women with 65 million. Number three, Jumanji: The
Wow.
Next Level.
Wow. I was really
Yeah,
surprised there.
I know.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was making sure I had the right list pulled up. Number three, Jumanji: The Next Level with 241.8 million. Number four, Knives Out with 133.1 million. And
I
number
still need to
five,
see that.
I
Knives
need I
Out.
need to see it too. It's such a great cast.
Yeah.
Number five, Uncut Gems with 39.3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Knives Out, Jumanji, uh, are the two I really been wanting to watch.
Hmm.
Different genres. I can easily watch either one depending on my mood.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, Little Women, I that one surprised me. I honestly didn't even know when it went to theaters, but I just started seeing the promos, pictures
Hmm.
of the actresses.
Yeah. So, out of all the other movies that I've seen for the past couple weeks, besides the last time that we recorded, was Ip Man 4, the finale. And are you a big Ip Man fan? Have you seen any of those movies?
No, but I know our friend Carlos tried to get me into it, and I couldn't get behind it.
Dude, the story is really good.
Yeah.
Um, you gotta watch it because it defines a whole era of martial arts movies, and it kind of pays a lot of tribute to all of the kung fu movies that has come out in the past.
Is
And not
that
only,
is that one of the franchises that Donnie Yang has been part of?
yeah, from
Okay.
start to finish.
Okay.
And it really pays tribute to Bruce Lee's master,
Hmm.
because that's what the whole story is about. His childhood, all the way, well, not his childhood, but um, his adulthood, where he became a father, and how he made an impact, big impact, to his
So
community.
so IP man stands for Intellectual Property Man 4.
That's what I originally thought, dude. Um, but no, that's his name. That's his real name. So the first one was basically what he did in his hometown that made a really big impact. And then the second one was, the Japanese people started taking over his town.
Hmm.
And then the third one is where he had to flee to Hong Kong. And then this fourth one is where he goes to San Francisco to look for a school for his son.
Hmm.
And from there, he met up with his student, which is Bruce Lee.
Hmm.
So it's kind of cool to see Bruce Lee in this fourth one. And I think it's leading up to the future series with the same director, but they're going to be focusing on Bruce Lee's story. So kind
Hmm.
of excited to see that because the action is really good. The
Hmm.
choreography is amazing. And yeah, this is a really, like, similar to Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. This is a really good ending to his story. Very good ending. Um, it's kind of emotional, this movie.
Hmm.
And I thought it was really worth it to go watch this movie because my cousin was like, "Hey, is this movie playing around here?" And I looked on my phone. It's actually not playing at any of the movie theaters around my area. The closest theater that had this movie was either in Atlanta
Hmm.
or Miami. And
So
so,
long drives either direction.
yeah, long drives either direction.
Mm.
2.5 hours down south or 5.5 hours north. We chose 2.5 hours. So we did a small road trip at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, Actually, we start at 12. So we got there right around 3. No, we didn't even get there at 3.
Hmm.
we start at 2, and the movie showing was at 5:30. We got there right on the dot. uh, yeah, this movie, dude. That long drive. If people had to ask me if it was worth it, totally worth it.
Hmm.
And I think you should invest your time into watching this series with your girlfriend. I think you guys would have a lot to say about this movie because the storyline really has a lot of historical things in there that make
Hmm.
you go, "Wow, this actually happened," and it's true that a lot of these things did happen.
Mm.
So it's kind of cool to see that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think when I first heard of it, it just sounded like over the top cheesy. But the more I heard about them, I'm like, oh, okay, there's more to it than I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
I was just making assumptions.
Oh, one really okay. So sometimes when you watch movies and especially low budget movies, like they have a
Yeah.
really good actor in there
Hmm.
because they paid good money for that one. But
Hmm.
then they also have like extras, and sometimes
Right.
they throw those extras a bone, and it's either they nail it or they don't.
Oh crap.
This movie, like these movies, like the Ip Man movies, when they have like these extras,
Uh-huh.
it's so bad. But I mean,
It's cringe, right?
the other
Would you?
parts of the movie makes up for it. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Here is your water.
Yes. Yes. That's basically how you would feel throughout
Oh God.
this entire series. But I mean, they're just trying to tell you the story. So I mean, they don't really want that to hold back the whole
Yeah.
movie experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just
They,
want to
they,
warn you first. So when you watch it, don't feel weirded out because I
they
felt weirded out.
they made their creative choice.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, Ton. So what would you give Ip Man for?
Uh, I mean, it's a good way to end it. I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
it's a
nice.
fun movie to watch and enjoyable. Almost had some tears there, but I held it back.
Tear jerking.
Yeah.
All right, son. I almost forgot about this. Really quickly before we go into Star Wars, top 10 grossing movies of 2019. We posted this on our social media at the 2OC, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Number 10, uh, It Chapter 2, 211 million point six, or 211.6 million. Number 9, Joker with 333.5 million. Number 8, Aladdin, the live action movie, 355.6 million. Number 7, Spider-Man Far From Home with 390.5 million. Number 6, at the time, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker with 390.6 million. Number 5, Captain Marvel with 426.8 million. Number 4, Frozen 2 with 430 million. Number 3, Toy Story 4 with 434 million. Number 2, The Lion King live action, which screwed me over on the movie draft with 543.6 million. And number 1, Avengers Endgame with 858.4 million, making almost $300 million more than number 2.
Hmm.
That is crazy, dude. That's a hell of a movie year.
Yeah,
All right,
this year
Anton.
is
So it's
crazy. Hmm.
yeah. So speaking of crazy movie years, Rise of Skywalker. I gave my thoughts earlier when going through our top 3 movies of the year. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the positive stuff. Uh,
Okay,
I
got it.
love the movie. I really really thought that it's a good ending. The reason why I think it's a good ending is because they tried to answer a lot of the questions. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good send off to a lot of the characters that we fell in love with, and this is kind of like a good way of saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I felt like a lot of that had to do with where this movie has a bit of a fallout for me. Um, Even though I loved the movie, I felt like there was so much more that is missing. Like I felt like there was a big chunk that could have made it so much more and way beyond. Um, because now looking back at the movie and learning more things about it since watching the movie is
Hmm.
that Rose Tico, I felt like a lot
Yeah.
of her story has been cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I felt that too, and I noticed that when she would appear on screen, but never really made a story for her.
yeah,
She was always in the background. She would pop up, say something, and then kind of go into the background and start grabbing boxes.
yeah. Because what I heard before was that, you know, she made a really big impact in this role for this movie, but she basically had to interact with Leia the whole time on the base.
Hmm.
And the thing with that was they didn't have enough footage to compensate for that.
Hmm.
And a lot of the shots that they had, even when we were watching the movie, felt like it wasn't enough clips, and they kept reusing some of the clips from other things.
Hmm.
Um, and the original cut that they had to cut down that half an hour of all that weird stuff that happens between Rose and Leia. Um,
Hmm.
I felt like if they did have something in there, I think it would have been a better send off to Leia. Not saying that
Right.
it's bad the way it is now, um, but yeah, I felt like that needed to be addressed. And another thing about this movie that I felt weirded out was where a lot of the things that we thought we didn't know
Hmm.
that were being answered, they were being twisted into like saying like, "Hey, here's the answer," like here's what you always wanted to know. Here you go. But it's not satisfying. Like Ray's
Uh,
parents, like I felt like that was a little forced in a way because they didn't have an outline to where they want each character to be at in the third movie. I felt like Ryan Johnson did a really great job. I still think, no matter what people say about it, I still think that's one of my favorite ones.
hmm.
But I think his story kind of messed up everything for JJ because he introduced a bunch of stuff that it's like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm so excited to see Knights of Ren, but you didn't see it in the second movie. And then the third movie rolls around. They're like, what do we do with Knights of Ren? We're gonna make it awkward by having this really lame fight at the very end.
I
Spoiler
mean, yeah.
alert! Sorry, we needed to say that. Yeah.
Spoiler for this movie. Yeah, it's been out for weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, then yeah, fair warning.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights of Ren, I agree with. That was, it felt very weird him having a very gothy entourage,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden. Um,
Like I wanted to
but
see like the Knights of Ren do
at,
something crazy, like they're badasses. Make them
yeah,
badasses.
yeah. But the Carrie Fisher stuff, the Leia stuff, they scrambled. They
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to film uh the overarching story uh a certain way, and because of her untimely death, they couldn't achieve it, and
Mm-hmm.
they scrambled. That's when we heard a lot of after her death was she was going to play a major part in the last movie, but they hadn't filmed all her scenes yet, and they had to do some major rewrites um, to not only fix the story however they can, but also try to use the existing footage they did have of her um, in a way that it's a proper send off for her.
Yeah.
There are some scenes that are bad CGI and some scenes that are clearly not the back of her head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I went into it knowing they had to do what they could. Um, and the point where even her daughter um, stood in for her in some scenes.
Yeah, I know that she played the younger version of Leia.
Mm-hmm.
When Luke and Leia had that small scene where they were training.
Yeah.
That was also something that I felt was a little forced too. I mean, if
They
they show it
yeah,
to us, I
th-
want to see more of an extent to what the training was like before getting to that part where I was like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. You know, like
yeah,
it's like
that one it,
yeah,
it was I like the scene, but from a story angle, it did feel very, oh, by the way, here's what you missed.
yeah,
Okay, back into the
yeah,
movie.
exactly. I
Yeah.
felt like they were trying to do some fan service, but it felt like it was a little forced.
Not even
And
fan service, but like just like this is what happened after Return of the Jedi, which we never mentioned to you or even hinted at before.
mhm,
Um, but the something I learned afterwards, while googling the golden lightsaber, was that apparently the colors of the lightsaber actually represent the style of the Jedi, and blue is for the Jedi that uh, use the Force for battle. For that they use the Force as a form of martial art or as a weapon of sort. Um,
I think
the green,
when they first get the kyber crystal, it's like colorless or something, and then whatever your powers are, it turns into that color, and
it,
that's the permanent color for that kyber crystal.
it reflects it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the green one is for uh, the Jedi that focus more on the knowledge of the Force,
Mm-hmm.
the more astute Jedi. The gold, well, pausing there, but I mean, it made sense that Leia's lightsaber was the green one. She
Mm-hmm.
was not a fighter. She was very tactical. She was very, uh, she chose her moves carefully. Luke was definitely a fighter. He couldn't wait to get out there, so it made sense that his lightsaber was blue. The gold lightsaber apparently is for the Jedi that land somewhere in the middle. They're not really they're not really honing their battle skills. They're not really doing steady, but they do defend the Jedi Order. They're called Sentinels,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that that was very appropriate for Rey to get a gold lightsaber because she is protecting the Jedi way
Yeah.
and keeping it alive and keeping the knowledge alive. So I was like, that's cool. Apparently, it's been referenced in other shows, but I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Dude,
I
I've been
think
catching up a lot on uh, Clone Wars,
yeah,
and dude, the stuff that are in these in
it's
betweens,
some
it's and then
it's
when
some
you
great
watch the
battles.
movies, huh? What's that?
It's some great battles and some great like chemistry between not chemistry, but a great how can I put it? Exchanges between characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh
I really like this is the thing I like about watching everything and absorbing as much as you can because when I was watching this guy he was talking about the Smuggler's Run at Star Wars Galaxy. And he's
mhm.
like, oh, yeah, at Star Wars Galaxy Smuggler's Run, they created this character named Hondo just for this ride. And then I'm like thinking in my head, no, they didn't. So I scrolled down to the comment section, and everyone's like, he's in Clone Wars. He's in Clone Wars. Watch Clone Wars. Oh my God. What kind of Star Wars fan are you? Like, it's like stuff like that I'm kind of like, oh,
which
that's.
is which is funny because that's easily a Google search away. You can probably type that in, and it's not like it's
Mm,
a common word or name that can be
yeah.
used for other things. You just type in Star Wars Hondo and boom.
Yeah. So another thing is when you watch stuff like The Mandalorian, at the very last scene of or almost at the last scene of the series, spoiler alert, um,
Oh yeah,
the black saber. You know,
yeah.
when you watch Clone Wars, you know where that black saber came from. So seeing that and knowing that is kind of like mind blowing.
Mhm.
and it's not being told in any of the movies. So if you don't watch Clone Wars, you're missing out on knowing what the whole story is about. Um, but stuff like that, I'm starting to appreciate a lot more. It's like very rewarding when you're putting so much work into watching a lot of this stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so cool to see. So yeah,
Yeah.
overall, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. If I had to give it a score, I mean, it's a good way to end the series. I just hope that future installments would be something that is rewarding to some of the unanswered things that we still have for this last movie. I would have to give it, because I'm still a Star Wars fan. I'm gonna give it a higher score, 3.9 out of 5.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go drastically higher than you. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go with a 4.7.
4.7.
Um,
Okay.
and that's
That's
me.
really
That's
high,
me with
dude.
the.
That's really high.
What?
Yeah.
This is the. This is not the worst Star Wars movie.
It's not. It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not. Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, most of the criticism I've heard is either understandable,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like the whole Carrie Fisher stuff,
Oh,
or
one more thing.
it's
One more thing. That Carrie Fisher lightsaber, I think it's just put in there because they want to sell more merchandise. Just throwing it out there.
Disney. No, that's silly. Um,
Yeah.
although no, I think the Ray one is. If you notice that the staff was the lightsaber was made out of her staff or
Mm-hmm.
materials very similar to her staff. Um, also, one thing I noticed, and that I didn't realize until afterwards. You know how her Sith version has a double-edged lightsaber?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how funny is it that she always carried around a staff which is about the same length, and it's almost like even though her Sith side wasn't out, she felt comfortable with something of that proportion.
Yeah, it was always her weapon of choice. So I wouldn't
No,
be
no, but
surprised.
no. But I'm saying though, like the replace her staff with a double-edged lightsaber, and it's the same size. I don't know about
Mm-mm-mm.
weight, but balance to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's not Sith, she still ended up with a weapon similar to the size of it,
Mm-mm-mm.
and uses it similarly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's something I noticed there. All right, Anton. It's been a long episode, but it's been a long time since we've talked, so
Mm-hmm.
it's good to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want to continue catching up with us, how can they support us?
They can support us by going to our website at www.the2oc.com and maybe go to our store, buy some merch. We got some stickers, we got that hat right there, we got T-shirts, and if there was something that we talked on the show, there would be a link in our Twitter feed or Instagram feed, and anything that would take them to Amazon would give us a little kickback. So that's always a good thing for us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You can also follow us on social media at the 2OC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also send us an email to mail@the2oc.com. If we give us a 5-star thumbs up, whatever the rating system is on the podcatcher app you're listening to us on. Preferably, you give us a 5-star on Apple Podcast. I can't remember what it's
Mm-hmm.
called now. Yeah, probably should know what it is off the top of my head, but it's been such a while.
Mm-hmm. So
Your turn.
this episode is also brought to you by Audible. Uh, today's sorry, I'm totally. It's what time is it right now? Oh my gosh, 2:16. All right, so today's podcast is also brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook and download 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/the2oc. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can use it on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. A book that I recommend is Off to Be a Wizard. It's kind of a very geeky book about a computer programmer who stumbles upon this really interesting program. And with this very interesting program, you're able to configure some of the options on there to control your life. So if you're able to change the hue of your room, you can do it with this app. It's kind of like a terminal. You type in some programming things in there, and things will change. So if you want to float, you just type in some programming stuff, and you start floating. And if you want to go back in time, you just type in "go back in time," and then
Yeah.
yeah, some very interesting stuff. So you should check it out. Off to be a wizard.
But you just created a vicious loop. You have to give parameters. You can't just say back in time. You say back in time, 2 minute repeat
Well,
ones.
there's some very complicated stuff there that
Okay.
people need more context. So yeah.
Okay. It's like being careful what you wish for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I actually have two recommendations. The first being The Witcher, because I'll probably end up reading that book too, even though you say I don't need to.
Yes.
And the other one is a book that I recommended to our listener Lupe just the other day, called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That is an Audible book that I loved
Mm-hmm.
because the author gives it keeps a casual tone, but at the same time, delivering the message of the book in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So a really good book. I went into it more thinking it's a comedy, but it's really good. I would think common sense advice.
Okay.
Cool. All
Cool.
right, Anton. I think that's it, right?
Yep. That's it. Let's wrap up.
All right. For the 2OC, I'm Mount Flores.
And I'm Anton Duong. See you guys.
Did I see you guys? Did I forget anything there? It feels weird.